Hello, everyone. Welcome to our October 2nd, 2018 staff meeting. I decided to record some of the information that we're going to talk about at our staff meeting because I'm worried that we're going to run out of time. I have quickly realized that 50 minutes, 60 minutes is not quite enough time to get through all we need to get through. We have Mr. Carnevale presenting to us for about 10 minutes on the FBA BIP process. And we also have Mrs. Kara Bauer presenting some ELL strategies for us, but specifically looking at WIDA and access scores and coming up with the WIDA can-do charts. We're going to divide into grade level teams and dig deep into the scores and what our students need as far as our EL population goes. In addition to that, I have quite a few things that I need to update you on, and I thought this might be a good way to do it in case we run out of time. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is American Education Week, which is from November 12th to November 16th. Mrs. Kolakowski or Donna is talking to Cabinet about this, but they really are hoping that we can get some community members into school for something that week. So I'm looking for ideas. Really anything that comes to your mind that we could kind of dissect and then invite people in to observe in our building so we can show off the great things we are doing. One of the things we talked about was just inviting community members in for, let's say, an hour on Tuesday, November 13th, and having them just walk around through our classrooms to see the great instruction that's happening. So I wanted that to be on your radar. There will be more conversations about that coming up. The second piece I wanted to talk about are some chat updates. One of the slides later has our chat goals and our district goals, but as you saw from today, our district chat team is already out and about walking through classrooms, and I got wonderful feedback. Again, I had another reason to be so very proud of everyone. They saw engaged learners, student-centered instruction. They saw small groups occurring within the large group. There's always room to improve, so I recognize that as well, but overall, we did a really nice job. You all did a really nice job, so I thank you for that. In the next 2 weeks, you'll see the chat team coming around doing some snapshots using the snapshot form that I had emailed to everyone, just getting and gathering some data that we will then share out at our district level chat meeting on October 25th. The next thing, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here. Let's see. Talked about the chat updates. The next piece is communication plans with families. I really need to give Donna an idea of the newsletters and the frequency with which we are providing families newsletters from our classrooms. You guys are wonderful about giving me copies of what you are sending home. I know that we are at least communicating to our families once a month through a newsletter, and I believe that most of us are also communicating through either the Remind app or through Class Dojo for the communication piece. If you could send me a just kind of a schedule or a one-liner that states how often you are communicating with families, that would be fantastic. Okay, field trips. This is a big one. We've touched on this a little bit, but the district wants us to be consistent among our elementary schools in terms of opportunities that we're providing for our K-5 students. So this is what we have come up with. I'm sorry that's so small. I will try to work on fixing that. Each grade level will have 3 field trips a year. One of those trips should be via a bus and timed within the school day. So 1 trip a year should hopefully be by a bus to somewhere within the state where you can travel and be back during the school hours. There will be no out-of-state trips for grades K to 2. We can talk about this, however, Salisbury Zoo or Brandywine Zoo, well, Brandywine obviously is in state, but Salisbury, let's say, might be a shorter distance. It is considered out of state, but it is a trip that you could make in a day and be back. Um, the third piece is that one of the trips in grades 3 through 5 will be a trip to DC or Philadelphia. And we satisfy this with our third graders going to DC. So we've already met that expectation. Curriculum night, as you know, is Thursday night. Please check out the Padlet or see me if you want me to print out the materials that I have included in the Padlet. The link is on the hard copy agenda that I've given you for the meeting. It's also on the most recent newsletter that I sent out on Sunday. There is the sign-in sheet that parents need to sign in on. This is especially important because this night is the night that we need to share the Title I slides about what it means to be a Title I school. And those slides are also included in the Padlet. You can print those for hard copies. They are available in English and Spanish. Those are important to share on curriculum night. There is a YouTube video on standards-based grading. There are a couple of PDFs from the Bridges curriculum. Those are all things that you could be addressing during curriculum night when you're talking to your families. Jill and Angie are going to be stationed in the cafeteria. So once you go through your expectations and introduction to the classroom, families are free to stop in the cafeteria. We will not be gathering as one for curriculum night. We are going to have families go straight to their child's homeroom. So if you need to reinforce that through an email or a Dojo Blast or however you do that, that might be important. All right, one thing we talked about at the principals meeting that I attended last Friday are our schedules, especially in terms of immersion and CAP. There is nothing that we need to be doing right this second, but there are parents who are asking if their child is in immersion, can they also be in CAP when the time comes? This brings about some issues, some scheduling issues that we just need to be thinking about. So if you could just kind of have this in your minds, what this might look like as immersion increases every year, grade by grade, this will become more of a topic of conversation. But parents are already asking, so it'd be nice if we could kind of wrap our heads around what our schedules might look like when immersion and CAP collide. Okay, grades and report cards. In your collaborative PLCs this week, remember things have changed a little bit this week because Katie from American Reading Company is here on Thursday. That is considered your coaching day. So we flip-flopped PLC days, and Wednesday now becomes your collaborative planning, PLC planning time. So grades and report cards, I know, are at the forefront of discussions now that we're kind of at the midpoint of the marking period, even further than that, really. But as far as progress monitoring goes, formative assessments, feedback we're giving to parents, all of these things kind of be discussing through your PLCs. I know that there's a lot of brainstorming to be done and it's new, so I'm looking forward to getting through this first marking period to really see how this works for us. So feedback and questions are really appreciated right now. All right, we are going to have evening conferences on October 11th, and we can have conferences on November 8th. I am asking that we don't begin the conferences on November 8th until about 9 a.m. We are going to try to do the DESA test security training for everybody in the morning that morning, so we can just kind of knock that out and have it over with. And 9 a.m. might be a good time to start those conferences for the day. So let's see how that goes. Please also by, let's see, like next Monday, if you could give me your conference schedules or give the office your conference schedules so we know who you have coming in at what times, that would be very helpful. We are also, before I move on to pink cards, November 9th is Friday of that election week, and we are working on having a trauma-informed care professional development session. Eileen Baker is working with me to have a speaker come in and show a pretty powerful video about trauma and the effects on children and the importance of resiliency and people in children's lives. I've heard wonderful things about this particular presentation, so I'm really excited and hoping that it's all going to work out. So the morning of November 9th, we will get together for that, hopefully, and then you would have the afternoons to work on your own. Pink cards. We obviously do not have pink cards this year, so the verification forms from eSchool are what we will need to be using for field trips. You should be able to print out within like 2 pages all of the contact information and emergency numbers that you would typically have on your emergency cards, and have that in two pieces of paper to be able to take on field trips. So we will work through that together. I already spoke about PLCs this week and talking about progress monitoring, developing growth goals as well for component 5. More information is coming in on that. So continue to make sure you have your assessments scored, and we'll start in the next couple of weeks really digging deep into component 5. I've already spoken about the November 9th staff meeting and trauma-informed care. Behavior RTI is going to be starting this month. The team has gone to a couple of trainings and are developing the protocol. That will be put into place as soon as we can get it into place, and we'll start having our behavior RTI meetings. Hoping that Thursdays will work and we can rotate behavior RTI meetings with CST meetings. So maybe one Thursday is a behavior RTI, the next Thursday is a CST, and rotate weekly like that. All right. Sorry, let me get to the next slide here. All right, physical activity. This has been a huge topic at the past 2 to 3 board meetings at least. The board is emphatic about physical activity. We are to be providing 300 minutes per week of physical activity, and it's outlined below. This is the way that we're going to shoot to attain those 300 minutes. 2 minutes during the morning announcements, 30 minutes of recess each day times 5, 45 minutes of PE per week, plus 5 minutes a day in each of the related arts classes, and then 15 minutes in the class, in our teacher classrooms throughout the day, 5 days a week, which equals 75 minutes. That gets us to the 300 minutes a week mark. The CAP class, I'm working closely with Renee Kosk and her students, and they have brainstormed some pretty cool ideas for our movement in the mornings. We'll come up with a catchy name for that and get that as part of the morning announcements. In the meantime, if you could be incorporating some sort of movement to your morning routine in the classroom, that would be fantastic. Stretching, some sort of gross motor activity would be fabulous. We can talk more about this, but that's our start. Okay, as a reminder, all the way to the right under the teacher goals for PLC and classroom, under curriculum, instruction, assessment, literacy, and mathematical practices, you will find the chat goals for the 2018-2019 school year. I asked the chat team for our walkthroughs today to really be looking for the student-centered, engaging, high-quality instruction, because that's our goal every day, as well as all of the other goals on here. But that was one that we are tackling every day and every week in PLCs. Okay, here's just a nice slide that Dave provided to get us going on the FBA and BIP train. Keep calm and run the FBA. We have some protocols in place that Dave has developed, that the district has developed, to really help us have strong behavior improvement plans and FBA assessments. We just are going to become more familiar with this, and it's only going to help our kids to make sure that they're getting exactly what they need to be successful. This is just a snapshot of our FBA and BIP process, and Dave is going to go through more of that with us. That is about it for the information that I need to present to you all. If you have any questions, please, please, please let us know. We realize it is a lot. We are in it with you and want to um, make things as easy as we can. There are going to be bumps in the road, but we're here to work through it together. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you very much.